Stand Up Diaries with Michelle Christine.
Hello and welcome to Stand Up Diaries entry 182, and this one is called Survivor, Edinburgh, London. And this thing here, there was like kind of a few grease stains for some reason on the paper that I took with me, so I decided to like make them circles and attach them, and then it kind of looked like a bit like a penis, or maybe I just envisioned it being a penis because it's been so long since I've seen one. Who knows? Who knows? My voice is croaky, and the reason is I have been really working my butt off. The Edinburgh Fringe was what I just completed, so that usually just definitely makes me hoarse. About halfway through the run, I start getting what they call the fringe flu. I gotta make sure I'm not wearing any pants to not go too low here with the camera. Well, it's obviously not moving, but I mean, I just saw my leg and it appears, so we're gonna have to rein that in, Michelle. Anyway, July. I haven't done this in a couple months, and that's my bad, but I've just been so busy. And again, that's just an excuse. I just haven't prioritized like I should have, really. That's what it all comes down to. So sorry about the delay in this video. But in July, 2 shows at the Virgil. July 7th was a Truth or Dare. July 21st was a Survivor show. Both were charity shows. The first one was for Planned Parenthood. The second one was for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. So that was really, really awesome. I raised a lot of money for those charities, which felt really great. And what was cool about the Survivor show is it was the first one of its kind that I've done. And I always love doing new themes because it's fun, and I just had this vision because I've been a Survivor. I guess I'm a bit of a groupie, a bit of a super fan. I love going to like the finales where all the survivors go after the reunion special in Los Angeles and just chat it up with the survivors like they're my celebrities. Like a lot of people like NFL stars or actresses or actors or whatever. But for me, I love survivors because I just love watching the show, and you feel like you get to know them so well. And it's weird because you meet them and you've seen them on TV for months and months and they've never seen you, so you probably seem like you're not a crazy person because I'm sure they're so used to it now. But it's weird the dynamic of them knowing so much about you, or you knowing so much about them, and them not knowing anything about you, which is the flip side for when I do comedy, is I basically tell my life story and then everyone knows so much about me and I don't know anything about them. So that's usually why I like to have some drinks with people after the show. So was really nervous about the new theme because it was a stand-ups versus improvs theme. At first I was trying to get some survivors, like former castaways, to be on the show because some of them have moved to LA and are kind of moving into comedy and do that kind of stuff, but none of them were interested in that. So I thought, you know what, maybe it's too crazy to have them be on stage, but maybe castaways, like former castaways, would want to be part of like a jury, a celebrity jury. So I thought if I make the show improv versus stand-up, so stand-up comedians versus improv comedians, and then they'll be on tribes, they'll do fun challenges, and then some of them will be comedy challenges, which will be subjective, therefore you need judges, because like just who clapped the loudest, I don't really love that, because sometimes they can be very close. So I thought we'll have the first row be this celebrity castaways, and we also had a guy who does the Survivor podcast, Ryan Elder, who's also composed for Rick and Morty. And then we had Max Dawson, Nina, and another castaway, Rachel Echo. And Nina's last name was like Prosh, but I don't really know how to pronounce it that well. Sometimes I screw it up, so I get a bit nervous to say it. But anyways, they were all lovely, and they did a great job, and it was such a fun theme to have, the comedians not really know what they were getting into. I was Jeff Probst, of course, and so they get on stage, introduce themselves as their tribes. I tell them to go hide away. Then I hide a hidden immunity idol somewhere. Someone had a really good suggestion and then wrote a couple clues for me in the audience so that when one of the teams did a reward challenge, they won one of the clues. So that was quite interesting. And, throughout the challenges, if one team wasn't participating, I was like, yeah, free reign to just wander through the audience and see if you can find one of the idols. And it ended up being played by Dominic, my good friend who was on the improv tribe, and so none of the votes for him counted. I bought lighters so that I could like flick the lighter and then people blow it out as their torch, because I'm not going to buy a bunch of torches. It is a charity show, so I don't really have a budget. But it was great. My husband came, which is always nice to see Dean there, and he said it was the busiest he has seen the Virgil of all of the shows that he's seen. So that was really cool too. So yeah, packed house, and it was fun. I just love when people chant. Like we had this one which was Ryan's idea. He helped me with it, and I thought it'd be cool to like. People have to carry one survivor, but I thought, they're gonna nominate their lightest survivor. But Ryan said, no, you should have it be nominate their strongest one and then make them carry the strongest one as like a twist. And I love that. So that was hilarious. And there's this great photo of Zach Towers. He's one of the comedians that was on the stand-up tribe holding this guy named Mike, and it was just like it was an epic photo, just in his arms, and he's like spreading away. But anyway. So that Survivor show, just loved it. I'm excited to do it again, and I even had a friend say that they would love to be like a stage manager for the show, because it was really hard for me to manage everyone and all the different things. And so yeah, it would be kind of nice if my shows start getting a bit more, not tech heavy, but movement heavy, and papers for writing down who gets voted off and that sort of thing. So it would be nice to have someone to help me with those situations. So it was a really fun show, and yeah, I will definitely do it again for sure. Excuse me. And then Edinburgh. I left for Edinburgh on the 27th of July. I pit stopped in Toronto for a few days to be able to see my nieces, I should say, and take my little niece Lily on her, well, it wasn't her first one as it turned out, but on a roller coaster. And we had so much fun. And we went on this thing called the Skyscraper that's kind of like a drop zone, but it was indoor. And it was actually really, really fun. And I actually at times was like, ooh, this is a bit intense for me. And what I like about kids is they do say the darndest things, because we were going up and down this skyscraper, and then Lily's like, oh, this tickles my vagina. And you're just like, oh my God, like only a kid would be able to kind of say that, because like just with like complete lack of censor or knowing that that's even somewhat of a unique thing to be saying, because she's a kid, and that's what's the beautiful thing about kids. But it definitely made me laugh for sure. So we had a great time doing that, seeing them. Seeing my parents and family, of course, and some friends. And then it was off to Edinburgh. And I went there about a week before the Fringe started to get over jet lag. Jet lag affects me a lot. One of my cousins put me up in a hotel for a few nights when I got there, which was really nice, and topped up my my SIM on my like UK SIM card so I could have like my phone, so that was lovely. And I just started flying like really early, like right away. And I think people think that I'm a crazy person, and I am 100%. But I just started flying right away. And some people are like, oh, this is my first flyer. This is my first flyer. And then the Fringe started, and it was a 120-seater in the caves, in the Cowgate. And I was a bit nervous because I was like, this is a huge room. And the first show was before the Fringe had actually started. So maybe it was about half full, and I was like, oh no, like it really is so much better if it's going to be like full, just with the, laugh track and vibes and whatnot. But then the first day of the actual Fringe, which was the 4th, I think that was a Friday night, and I'd been, getting flyering for about a week straight at this point. It was almost full. I think there was like 115 people that were there. Like everyone had to sit beside each other, like no gaps between everyone. And it was awesome because I didn't know what was going to happen. And then that was kind of the start of like the ball rolling. And I would park myself at the Royal Mile and the Radisson every day I would try to aim for 8 hours a day. That's what was my goal. So, obviously you have to take breaks to pee and eat, but I wanted to be on that corner. That was like the corner every day. And sometimes people would come after I'd flyered them 5 times or 6 times, or because they'd seen me 7 hours earlier and I was still there. So I was like really obsessed with flyering, like OCD about it, but I wanted that room to be full every single night. That was the goal. Any empty seats meant I didn't work hard enough. So that was kind of my mentality going into flyering. And I think a lot of people were shocked at my kind of dedication and commitment. Some people would say, oh, are you getting paid enough? And I was like, this is my show. And no, I'm definitely not, but like my boss is a bit of a bitch. So yeah, no, I definitely worked my absolute ass off, and I got in a cold the first week of the Fringe, so I wasn't even sleeping well. My nose was always running and it was waking me up, and so it was a bit of a rough go. But I just, that adrenaline when you perform, I really liked the venue and the people that worked there. And every night, kind of after the show, you know, you'd have a few drinks, and people are nice. They buy you a drink if they like, maybe they wanted to give you a donation, but they didn't have any money on them. So, you know, you're having a few drinks and you've been shot with adrenaline because you just performed. So every night I was like, I need to go home early today to catch up on my sleep. It's 4 a.m. What happened? So, but I met some incredible people. And this was the best Fringe that I've ever had by far. Like, it was just amazing. The turnouts, the tweets that people would say about the show. I couldn't get one reviewer in there because I was so busy. And I need to hire someone eventually or something, because it's so hard to juggle all the balls. Like, how do you book future gigs when you're so busy flyering? Like, but then you have to think, well, sometimes you have to take a break so that you can book those future gigs. And that's what I found myself in when it came to coming to London. So I found a flight from London to LA direct for only £200. So I thought, I need to get myself to London. And I kept asking people who I'd work with that I heard that had an English accent, are you from London? Oh yes. What good venues could I do there? And people kept giving me lists, and I tried a few places and it didn't work out. But then I contacted the Miller, which is in Southeast London. And I called them, really liked the person I spoke with, sent them an email, said, look, this is what I've been doing in Edinburgh. And they were like, yeah, we're free on this Wednesday. And I was like, yeah, I know it's only maybe 10 days notice at that point, but like, I'll come and I'll flyer like a crazy person, and I'll really, I do a good job at filling the room. And so they agreed, you know, put me on the website. I came to London, and it's kind of funny because my last day of the Fringe, I was like, okay, don't party too hard, because the cheapest train out of London is £55, but it's at 6:25 in the morning. So, excuse me. I was like, all right, don't party too hard, but it was a really great, you know, crowd, and the show went really well, and then a bunch of people that had, you know, I'd hung out with in the past kind of showed up as well to hang out, and few drinks later, you know, someone's busting out a live saxophone and doing it along with like twist and shout. So it's like twist and shout. It's like doo-doo-doo-doo. And it was just like amazing, and people were dancing and singing, and it was like I had to go out with a bang. But I get home and I wake up in the morning and it's 9:30, and I was like, no. So I pack up all my stuff. I go to the train station, and the next train to London was £137, and I was like, ah. So I paid that one. But beforehand, I made like a GoFundMe, because a lot of times people will come to the show and it's free, and like I said, they don't have money to leave a donation, but they would have really liked to. So I said, look, I'm mad at myself. It's kind of a shitty way to start off going to London, is like eating into this thing. I've almost broke even at this Fringe, and it's always nice if you can break even and not lose money on your career. So I just threw it up there just to see, and I ended up getting like, I think $160, which was around £122 or so. So then that new ticket, basically, you know, it was like not a get out of jail free card, but I felt like I was, it kind of made me go to London with a lot more happiness and vigor and things like that. So everyone that donated, I'm so grateful. If you're watching this, thank you so much. Because yeah, that meant that I could come here and not feel like really strapped, which is great. And then I come to London, and I get my flyers, and I was going to print off new ones because Dean had updated the bottom to say the Miller, and so my digital one was correct, but they wanted £140 for 500 of them, and I was like, £140? Are you kidding me? No way. I brought a bunch of flyers with me from Edinburgh, just took a Sharpie, wrote the new details, and then when I flyered to people, I said, yep, just trying to save a tree, or just trying to, you know, reuse things that I already bought. And people totally understand that. So I don't like things to look unprofessional, but at the same time, you have to make certain sound decisions financially when it comes to things. And I had the flyers, I had a Sharpie, why not use them? And so I just flyered around, met some people, posted on social media and that sort of thing. And I was so shocked with the turnout, like my first show in London, and it was pretty much a packed house. So I just can't, oh my God. And there was one guy that came, and it was his birthday, and we sang happy birthday. I made him like sit in the front row as I like live streamed it on Facebook. And it was just so fun to make it special for him. And we went out for drinks after, and there were so many people that had drinks, and it was just, we played a bit of pool. bicycle, and I ran in. So the person that I'm staying with here, this is their place, I didn't have a key, so I didn't want to stay out too late and keep him up. So I said, look, you go to bed. I met this couple. The girl's Canadian, the guy's from England, and we're having some drinks and a good time, and I'm just going to go home with them and sleep on their air mattress in the kitchen. And then we took a bus, and I didn't have the right change, or like an Oyster card, which is, I guess, the tap card that they have here in England or London. And I had the money, though. I was like, here, I'll give you whatever money it requires. I have exact change, but they don't take cash anymore. They only take this like credit card that you tap on, but I don't have a contactless one because I have an American credit card. So I think she got just really frustrated, then was just like, sit down, basically. So at least I got to ride the bus for free. And then we made some chicken chow mein. Well, I blew into an air mattress and expanded the air mattress while they cooked some dinner. I think we had dinner like midnight when we got home, but it was like delicious. It was chicken chow mein, which I love. And then I woke up early today, maybe because it's the excitement of knowing that I have the day to explore London as I so choose. And I can't wait to just get out there. I bought like a 2-pound thing for a bicycle, and then you can take any 30-minute rides you want in a 24-hour period. If it's over if it's over 30 minutes, it charges you another 2 pounds. So I kind of went in the wrong direction trying to meet up with a guy this morning to get his keys at work. And so I was like, I'm gonna take one of these bicycles. And boy, like biking in London and like getting used to like being the opposite side of the road. I'm like, I don't like have a helmet, and I'm like have my bag with like my Mountie costume and like on my like bike of shame, which it really isn't a shame because, you know, I didn't sleep with anyone, but I'm just like biking and like I'm just like, ooh, this is interesting. And then you have to find another place to put the bike to park it. And when I went by one, it was still like a 10-minute walk to his work, but I was like, whatever, there's a station, parked it back in, made sure I, you know, didn't go over my 30 minutes, which was good. And London's beautiful. There's all these beautiful canals by like Angel tube station, and I didn't know that London had things like that. It's much more beautiful than I don't want to say remember, because I was here a long, long time ago and we probably didn't go to the canals. But, you know, I love cities. I love everything. I love so much about the world. The world's such a wonderful place. And everywhere I go, I meet such wonderful people and see such cool scenery. And I'm very, very excited to explore today in London. And on the day that I said I need to rest my voice and not talk at all, I've done an epically long stand-up diary. What minute are we at now? We're at 16 minutes, so I think it's time to wrap it up. I have a million things I could say about the past couple months, but overall, I'm a work hard, play hard type of person, and I've really busted my ass, and it's also been a bit of a bender, but I really wouldn't have it any other way, and I'm just so grateful to everyone that's come out to the shows and made these past couple months some of the best months of my life. Anyways, this has been your next edition of Stand Up Diaries. I have been Michelle Christine.